Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys and telling you guys about a really cool custom format that my friend JaxuTCG and some of his friends were working on and created. He tweeted about this format. I looked at it, looked pretty interesting. Me and Jaxu had already been kind of know each other and friends in the past, so I was telling him about it. I built some decks for it, and yeah, we banned some cards, stuff like that. So it's kind of been an entire group effort. This format, it's called s-36, and it is a Singleton format. It's a lot like DLC, except there are actually not a lot of things like DLC. I think the closest thing to DLC, you can only have one card. It's a Singleton format. You can only have one of every single card except basic energy in your deck, with a little bit of a twist. I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, I have some resources for this format down below, mainly the s-36 official webpage, where it has all the rules, stuff like that, all the ban lists, so you can build your decks. So the basic rules are you can only have one of every single card in your deck, but you can have up to 4 of every single of a card with your name, but they all have to have different text, which means that is why I can have, I don't know if there's actually anything in this one that's actually different, but as long as they have different text, you can play them like, I don't know if there's actually anything. Yeah, none of these decks I've brought to show you actually have anything. For example, you can play, 3 different Zoroarks in your deck as long as they have different text. You can play 4 different Zorus in your deck as long as they have different text. So like that. Now this is the really big change from DLC, is that you can have an ace Pokemon in your deck. In every single deck, you can have a single multi-prize Pokemon that is a non-tag team GX or a EX. You can only have one, which means you can't play like Megas or something like that. So you're going to be choosing one basic evolution GXs or one basic EX to play. Lowercase EXs instead of the uppercase ones. The lowercase EXs are only worth 1 prize instead of 2. You can evolve things that have like region subtitles. For example, you can evolve a Alolan Meowth into a Galarian Persiger, or you can evolve a Galarian Meowth into a Alolan Persian. So yeah, stuff like that you can do, which is actually really, really helpful. And yeah, so I have 2 decks here that I'm going to be showing you. Oh, I forgot that there's a lot of rules to this. You can only have one of every single card as long as it has different text. 1 Aspect, Prism Stars you can have, because instead of cards with a rule box you can't have, it's only multi-prize cards you can have. So that is, also really big. And it's not monotype. You can have, as many types as you want. In your deck, you can have 1 Pokemon of every single type for all this format cares. So yeah, I have 2 decks. I have this Xerneas GX deck, and then I have this Ultrabeast box deck. These are 2 of my favorite decks. This one is honestly my favorite. I think this deck is insanely powerful. But yeah, there's a really long ban list off the top of my head. Both the baby Blacephalons are banned. There's some banned Aspects. You can't have Shaman as your Aspect, Dene, Tapu Lele, both the Fast Raiders, the Latios, and the Pheromosa GX you can't have. So there's a decent amount of banned cards. So go ahead and look at the official s-36 website for those ban lists. But without further ado, I say we should get into this format, starting off with Rainbow Road Xerneas. That uses the Xerneas GX as our ace Pokemon here, which has Overrun for a single energy. You do 20 damage, and then you do 20 damage from your opponent's bench. And then 2 Fairy and a colorless Aura Horns, 120. The Sanctuary GX for 2 Fairy and a colorless to move all damage counters from all your Pokemon to your opponent's active. So not only do you heal all your Pokemon in play, but you also will usually be getting them on a KO, which is really, really great. So 1 copy of the Xerneas GX. And we have our main attacker, which is this Xerneas that has the Rainbow Force attack for a Fairy and a 2 colorless energies. We do 10 damage, I think. Yeah, plus 30 more damage for each different type of Pokemon in your bench. So we're playing a whole bunch of different type of Pokemon, so we can do as much damage, up to 170 for just 2 energy, because we have 2 energy and DCE with the Rainbow Force. Then our last attacker is going to be the Xerneas Prism Star, which has the Path of Life ability. When it moves into the active, you can move any amount of energy from your other Pokemon to it. And then for 3 Fairy energy, we just do 160 and can't use it next turn. So this guy is a really nice heavy hitter. This guy can also hit pretty hard as well. So these are going to be our 3 attackers, our 3 Xerneas. And we have our draw Pokemon that all are different types. and that will be able to not only draw us cards, but also help us do more damage with Xerneas. So we play one. Oh, I forgot to mention this in the rules. You can every single card ever printed is legal. So basic cards are legal, basically, which is why you're going to see things like Item Finder in here, and with old cards like Play It All. We have a 1/1 line of Minccino, which has the Great Make Do ability that can discard a card from hand and then search our deck. Or not search our deck, just draws 2 cards. And we have a 1/1 Play It All line as well, that has Cosmic Power. You put up to 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck and then draw until you have 6. So it's like a Crobat every single turn, which is insanely good. But not only is it like Crobat, but it can also thin your hand. So a lot better than Crobat. Unfortunately, it's a stage 1, but we do have a way around that, and I'll get to that in a minute. We have another stage 1. We have a 1/1 copy of Zoroark. This is the one from Evolving Skies with Phantom Transformation. That can turn into any of our stage 1s, our Chinchino, our Claydol, and including our 0/1 line of Ninetales here that has the Barrier Shrine ability that says both players can play stadiums. You can lock Wondrous Labyrinth into play and make it a lot harder for our opponents to attack. One of the most defining cards of this entire format is Broken Time Space. Broken Time Space is insanely good with stage 1 or even stage 2 Pokemon that attack for really, really cheap. For like 1 energy or like 2 energy, and you have like an item card acceleration or something like that. So that makes this Ninetales locking Wondrous Labyrinth into play, making your opponent's attacks cost 1 more really, really good, especially since we run a Crushing Hammer and Enhanced Hammer as well. So you can really hope our opponent will be able to attack while we're hitting very, very hard with our Xerneas here that can use the Rainbow Road. Or I'm just going to be calling it Rainbow Road, but it's actually called like Rainbow Force or something like that. Anyway, so 1 copy of Ninetales, and then we have the 2. Basically, this is the dynamic Crobat of the format. We have 1 copy of Uxie, which has setup. It's basically Crobat's ability, but it's for 7 cards. When you bench it, draws only 7. And we have Lapras, which just has temporarily GX's ability, searches for a supporter when you play it from your hand to your bench. Move this stuff a little bit more this way here. I have room for other stuff. Anyway, our supporters, we are running a Sycamore and a Cynthia. These are the 2 great draw cards of the format. Then we are also running a Pokemon Collector and a Bridget. This can really help us spring all the Pokemon we need onto our bench, so we can, do hitting for a lot of damage with Xerneas. It's kind of like the idea of like Zoroark, how Zoroark played, 1 to 3 Bridget. Some builds played 1, some builds played 3, so that you could, get all those Pokemon on your bench. Well, this is the same kind of idea here. You want to get those Pokemon on your bench so you can evolve them, start drawing yourself some cards, as well as doing your damage with your Xerneas. Then we have 1 copy of Mina, which says search your deck for a Fairy Energy card and attach it to 1 of your Pokemon. So this is, really nice little Fairy acceleration. Fairy actually doesn't have that much acceleration, so Mina is going to be the really great energy accelerator here. We have 1 copy of Diantha, which says that if one of your Fairy Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you can put 2 cards from your opponent to your hand. Just to get back, your Xerneas, and you can get back your DC, you can get back all this great stuff that you would have lost or that just play recovery for. And then finally, we play 1 copy of Guzma. Next, we're going to be doing our stadiums here. We have 1 copy of Wondrous Labyrinth, which, while it's in play, it says that the Fairy Pokemon's attacks cost, it says non-Fairy Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless more. This is going to be really, really nice for just increasing your opponent's attack cost, hoping your opponent won't be able to attack the Xerneases, and you can just dish out a whole ton of damage while they're not being able to attack. Then we have, in my opinion, the most format-defining card, Broken Time Space, which basically just says the evolution rule doesn't exist. It says that each player can evolve their Pokemon on the turn that they put them into play, which means you can put a Minccino down in the same turn, evolve to Minccino. You can put a Beltor down, immediately evolve into Claydol. So you can just immediately get your draw Pokemon, which is really, really great. That's why just 1 energy attacking decks like Zoroark Box, which has Zoroark GX for trade. You can get turn 1 trade going up, and then the Zoroark Stand-In, and as the Zoroark with Stand-In also has a really, really great attack as well. So Zoroark is an example of a really, really good attacker that is a stage 1 that can attack for just 1 energy. And then Alolan Raticate GX is a deck that I also have built, but I didn't choose to showcase that today. That's for 0 energy, you can do a decent amount of damage, and you can just heal it as well. And you can get that out turn 1, start attacking turn 1 with Broken Time Space. So Broken Time Space is just a meta-defining card. and I think it will continue to be, obviously, as cards don't rotate out in this format. Cards just get added, so maybe some really insanely good stage one will come out soon that'll make this format absolutely unplayable, maybe, but we'll have to see about that. Next, we have one copy of Quick Ball, obviously, and just consistency cards are going to have Pokemon. Quick Ball, Luxury Ball, which basically just search your deck for Pokemon. You can't play it if you have a Luxury Ball already in your discard pile, but you only have one, so this basically just always says search your deck for Pokemon. And then we have one copy of Ultra Ball. Ace Spec, we're running Computer Search. And we have a couple of energy and off cards. One copy of Crushing Hammer, one copy of Enhanced Hammer. In combination with our Wondrous Labyrinth, it's going to be really, really great for denying our opponent of their energy. I'm hoping that they won't be able to attack as we lock the Wondrous Labyrinth to play with the Ninetales. Play two Pokemon tools, one copy of Floatstone. This is a staple in every single deck. And then Fighting Fury Belt, since our attackers are basic. It means that our Xerneas will have, I believe, 160 hit points. Yeah, 160. Our Xerneas Prism will be able to go up all the way to 200 hit points, and its attacks do 10 more damage, so you can hit all the way up to 180 with Xerneas, which is getting into GX one-shot zones, so keep that in mind as well. And we just have some energy. We have one copy of Double Colors Energy, one copy of Twin Energy, one copy of Wonder Energy, and then 4 copies of Fairy Energy as well. And that is the Xerneas deck. This deck, I think, is really, really good. Definitely, I actually do want to. I forgot to add some things to the deck before recording this video. I wanted to add at least a Junk Arm / Item Finder and maybe a Versus Seeker. And I think this deck is probably perfect. This deck is very, very powerful. So yeah, that's the first S-36 deck that I'm going to be showing you. And let's just get right into the Ultrabeast deck, which I think is actually the best deck in the format. The Ultrabeast deck is insanely good, and I will explain to you why. So our ace Pokemon in the Ultrabeast deck is going to be Ultra Necrozma GX. Ultra Necrozma GX is obviously an Ultra Beast, but has 2 very, very good attacks: Sky Scorching Light GX and Photon Geyser. The main one here, I think, is going to be Sky Scorching Light GX, which for a Metal and a Psychic, if each player starts, or each player's prize cards combine into 6 or less, then you do 60 to everything, basically. I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. There's so many rules to the format. I keep forgetting to tell you guys about some stuff. But each player gets a 10-card hand, chooses a basic as their active, and put 3 cards from that 9-card hand as their prizes. So yeah, so you only have 3 prize cards, which means that Ultra Beasts that take advantage of these specific prize card counts are very, very good. Ultra Necrozma basically always, Sky Scorching Light on Ultra Necrozma basically always just says 60 to everything for only 2 energy. And we play B-String, which is the heart and soul of this deck, which lets you get Sky Scorching Light out turn 1. So decks that don't find Ultra Space, or not Ultra Space, Broken Time Space on the first turn, or aren't able to put Broken Time Space into play turn 1, you're just going to be usually getting either a knockout on all their evolving Pokemon, and straight up either just winning the game or becoming extremely ahead in the game. And then Photon Geyser, also for a Psychic and a Metal, we do 20 damage, and then you discard all basic Psychic energy attached to it, and it does 80 more for each one. So not only can you just have the chance to just absolutely donk on any evolving Pokemon, but also Photon Geyser can just straight up one-shot anything for just about 2 energy, I think, which is crazy. So Ultra Necrozma GX is insanely powerful. So we're running 1 copy of that. And then our other main attacker is going to be the Stack Attacker with Wall of Stone that says if your opponent's prize cards are 3 or fewer, which since they just start with 3, it's always going to be true. This Pokemon's maximum HP is 200, which means this basically just has 200 HP. It's just a 200 HP basic Pokemon that's fighting type, which is great. We also have 4 Tree Cost, which means buff padding. So this is going to be able to have 250 HP. And you can attack with this turn 1 because B-String, and then top down, fighting colorless. We do 110, and you flip a coin and until you get tails, and you discard the top card of your deck, or your opponent's deck, for each heads that you get. So not only can it mill your opponent have some resources, but it can also just do a really, really decent amount of damage, and on turn 1, which makes it all that better. And then the last Ultra Beast we're running is 1 copy of Still a steal up that has the Moonraker attack, which looks super expensive. For metal, colorless, 5 energy, we do 160. But if the total, but if the total of both players' prize cards is 6 or, no, exactly 6. Yeah. So if the total of both players' remaining prize cards is exactly 6, sorry about that little pause there. Just questioning whether this card actually did what I think it did, obviously, because I'm doing a video, I'm questioning everything. It does, just, you can use it for metal. So 1 energy, 160, basically, before any opponent has taken a prize card, which is insanely good, because it's actually not that hard to get that guy into the active. So 3 super powerful Ultra Beasts, all really good in their own situations. And then we just have 2 other Pokemon, or 2 good to see Pokemon, which is going to be Uxie with Setup and Lapras with Support Navigation. Moving on to our supporters, Lucy Prism Star is the other really insanely good card about playing these Ultra Beasts. And you can only play it if your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining. Well, since they start with 3 at the beginning of the game, this is obviously always going to be in effect. And it just says prevent all damage done to all your Ultra Beasts by your opponent's attacks during their next turn. So not only can we get some insane hits turn 1, or really powerful hits for cheap turn 1, or just spread turn 1, we can also just prevent damage turn 1, which is insanely good. Not only that, but we can search out really easily with our Lapras. So Lucy Prism Star can just give us that tempo we need. Also forces our opponent to probably not going to be able to take a prize card, which means we just have that extra turn to find our V-String, which is the only way we're going to be able to accelerate our energy into deck. So 1 copy of Lucamine Prism Star. And then we have 1 copy of Professor Sycamore and Cynthia as the draw supporters, obviously. 1 copy of Skyla, because we can't search out V-String. And 1 copy of Guzma as our Gust. Then, obviously, we have the Heart and Soul of the deck, V-String, which says that you can only play it if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prize cards left. Now, they're obviously never going to have 4 unless you play, like a Lego, or the Ganondel GX, or the Dragon and the Ganondel, or Circuitry GX, I think, which all have GX attacks that manipulate your opponent's prize cards. So, a V-String is usually just going to be active before your opponent's taking a prize. But it says search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to 1 of your Ultra Beast. So, insanely good acceleration on a item card, which is always a good thing, Just saw tons of play when it was legal with like Blacephalon and just in like rogue Ultra Beast decks in general. So V-String is proven itself as a really good card, and also in this deck, just being able to turn 1 get stack attack a card up, or turn 1 get a lot of energy on Ocean Necrozma. I guess you could even in theory power up Celestia for the 5 energy Moonraker for 160, I guess. But V-String is just such an insanely good card. That's just what makes this deck function. That's also why we played the Skyla. For our Pokemon search, we run 1 copy of Mysterious Treasure, which says discard art from hand, search your deck for a basic Psychic or Dragon. That searches our deck for Necrozma or Uxie. Necrozma is obviously our ace and is very powerful. Our Uxie draws those cards, so really no reason not to play this Mysterious Treasure. 1 copy of Luxury Ball, which just once again says search your Pokemon. 1 copy of Nest Ball, which searches for their regular intervention. Really important to note, you can't get Lapras or Uxie with this and use their ability because it's coming from your deck, not from your hand. So yeah, Nest Ball. And then Quick Ball as the last ever search. So pretty good amount of search outs for the amount of Pokemon we have. We only have 5 Pokemon, but want to have all the search outs for them. We play 1 copy of Item Finder and 1 copy of Junk Arm. They both basically just say discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck, your discard pile for a trainer card. So this can get back your B-String, obviously, and also for getting back our B-String, we play 1 copy of Dowsing Machine. So we really want to have those maximum outs for getting back our B-String. And also for finding our B-String out of our deck, not only do we have Sky, but we also have 1 copy of Order Pad, which says flip a coin. If heads, you search your deck for an item card. 1 copy of Pokegear, so we can find our supporters. 1 copy of a Switch, because we do have 2 Pokemon for retreat cost, and 1 with 2. The Lapras also has 2, and Uxie is 1. So we also have the Floatstone as well. Just be able to switch out, but also want to have that switch as well. I've also tried to Tate and Liza. You want to add a Tate and Liza. I actually think it was really good, but I ended up cutting it in the end. But Satan Liza is really, really good if you want to go ahead and add that. So yeah, 1 copy of Floatstone and then 1 copy of Buff Padding. Just give our stack attack a monstrous HP. In terms of our stadiums, we're running 1 copy of Chaotic Swell, which means we can counter the format defining card that is Broken Time Space. If we get Chaotic Swell turn 1, keep in mind we have 10 cards plus a supporter because you can play supporters turn 1 to do it. If we find this Chaotic Swell, it means that our opponent's not going to be able to put an Ultra Space or Broken Time Space for sure, which means that they're not going to be able to evolve our Pokemon, so that means we can go ahead and spread with Ultra Necrozma, take a whole bunch of KOs, or at least just spread a little bit of damage. So Chaotic Swell, really, really good, I think, in like heavy basic decks like this one. Definitely want to be playing that Chaotic Swell. For energy, we actually do run quite a bit of energy because we want to have it in deck to accelerate Beast-String. Obviously, this special energy, we can't accelerate Beast-String. Beast energy, which says the Ultrabeast is attached to its attacks with 30 more damage. And Prism energy, which says if it's attached to basic, it counts as any type of energy. But we do want to have some basic energy to accelerate, so we're running 5 copies of basic Psychic, 4 copies of basic Fighting, and then 1 copy of basic Metal. And that's going to be the Ultrabeast deck, and I think that's going to be the video. I plan on doing some more deck profile videos for this format. I've had a ton of fun with this format. I like this format a lot more than GLC because I just like that there's more of a meta. There's more actually like decks instead of just cards thrown into a deck that are all the same type. So I really do like this format. I think there's more flexibility. It's more interesting. I love building decks. Anyway, that's the video for the video. If you guys liked it, if you guys like this format, don't forget to leave a like and check out the link in the description of the video to the S-36 website for all the rules, stuff like that. So if you guys want to build your own deck, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys look forward to more content in this format. It's tons of fun. Go ahead and give it a try. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.